The sun blazed high over the African savanna, dust shimmered in the golden light, and a hush seemed to fall over the plains. Suddenly, a chilling sight shattered the stillness. A young zebra, no more than 2 summers old, writhing helplessly on the ground. Thick, scaly coils of a massive African rock python wrapped mercilessly around its body. Each second, the serpent's grip tightened, crushing the breath out of the helpless creature. Death was seconds away. But the savanna is a land of surprises. Out of the shadows, a colossal silverback gorilla burst into the clearing, eyes blazing, chest pounding, arms flexed with raw power. No one could have expected what would happen next. The young zebra had wandered too far from its herd. Innocent, curious, drawn to the shade of the acacia trees, it hadn't seen the python lurking in the tall grass. With lightning speed, the serpent had struck, coiling around its striped body, pinning its legs, pressing into its ribs. The zebra kicked, twisted, and neighed desperately. But each cry grew weaker as the snake's crushing power drained its strength. All around, the savanna stretched endlessly. Golden fields, scattered trees, the calls of birds in the distance. Predators and prey lived by ancient rules here. The strong devoured the weak, and survival was a daily gamble. But what was about to unfold would break those rules in ways no one could have imagined. The python's tongue flicked, its cold eyes reflecting victory. The zebra's head drooped toward the grass. It was the end. And then came a sound. A thunderous roar, not from a lion, but from a gorilla, a beast rarely seen on the open savanna. The silverback charged forward, pounding his chest like a war drum, sending a booming challenge across the plains. The python hesitated for a fraction of a second, its coils tightening instinctively around its prey. But the gorilla as already upon it. With monstrous strength, he grabbed the thick body of the python and ripped it away from the zebra. The zebra gasped, air rushing back into its lungs, its eyes wide with life once more. The python hissed, lashing its body violently, trying to recoil around both the zebra and the gorilla. But this was no ordinary opponent. The gorilla wrestled the serpent with furious roars, muscles bulging, veins standing out across his arms. He bit, he tore, he slammed the snake against the earth with earth-shaking force. The zebra struggled to its feet, trembling but alive, watching its savior wage war against its executioner. For a moment, it seemed the gorilla might win outright. But then the ground trembled again. Not from the fight, but from footsteps, heavy, synchronized footsteps. From the dust of the horizon they emerged, 4 magnificent male lions, golden-maned, shoulders broad, eyes locked on the scene before them. The savanna seemed to hold its breath. The gorilla froze for an instant, still gripping the python's thrashing body. His eyes locked with those of the lions. He knew their power, their reputation. These were kings of the plains, apex predators who feared no one. The lions advanced slowly, paws silent in the grass, their eyes glowing like embers. They were not rushing. They were calculating. The gorilla braced himself, chest heaving, ready for a fight against not 1, but 5 deadly enemies. The python still coiled in his grip, and the 4 lions now circling closer. The zebra, sensing fresh danger, staggered behind the gorilla, trembling, as if clinging to the shadow of its unlikely protector. One lion growled, low and deep, vibrating through the air. Another licked his fangs, his golden mane rippling in the breeze. The third narrowed his eyes, crouching slightly. The 4th, the largest of them all, simply stared at the gorilla as though measuring his soul. And then, something unthinkable happened. Instead of attacking the gorilla, the lions suddenly leapt forward. Not at him, but at the python. The python shrieked, its coils lashing wildly, as one lion sank its teeth deep into the serpent's midsection. Another raked its claws down its back. The gorilla roared, tightening his grip around the snake's head, while the remaining lions tore at its lower body. It was chaos. Dust exploded into the air as 5 apex predators, gorilla and lions together, fought a single monstrous snake. The zebra stumbled away to safety, collapsing in exhaustion near a tree, alive but too shocked to move. The python's power was legendary, but even it could not withstand this impossible alliance. It writhed, hissed, and thrashed, but inch by inch its coils loosened. Finally, with a bone-crunching crack, the gorilla snapped the serpent's neck. The lions tore away the last of its strength, leaving the mighty predator limp and defeated. The battle was over. The dust settled. The gorilla stood heaving, chest covered in sweat and dust, eyes burning with primal fire. The 4 lions stood around him, silent, their golden manes glowing in the sunlight. For a moment, predator and protector faced each other. The gorilla waited for the inevitable, the lion's betrayal, the strike at him or the zebra. But instead, the lions merely looked at him, and then turned their heads toward the zebra. The zebra flinched, expecting death, but the lions did not move. Instead, the largest lion stepped back, his tail swishing slowly, as if acknowledging the gorilla. A silent truce had been formed, a fleeting alliance born not of friendship, but of respect. The gorilla gave one final roar, pounding his chest in victory. The lions, in turn, raised their heads and released a deep, echoing roar of their own. It was not a challenge, but an answer. And then, just as suddenly as they had arrived, the lions turned away, disappearing back into the savanna, their figures fading into the haze. The zebra stood, shaky but alive. The gorilla glanced at it once, then slowly retreated into the trees, his massive frame vanishing into the wilderness. That day on the savanna, the laws of the wild were broken. Predator and protector, rivals and enemies, came together against a greater threat. The gorilla saved a life. The lions, instead of seizing prey, chose to fight alongside him, and the zebra lived to see another day. It was a reminder that even in the harshest lands, where survival is everything, the wild can still surprise us. Sometimes the unthinkable happens.